Here we are. Welcome to the round 20 episode of Lachie's Weekly Footy Roundup for season 2016. We'll be going for the usual. Reminder to his bedroom's a close set in this one. Anyways, before we get on to the results, predictions, and the ladder, we've got a couple more retirement news. Matthew Pavlich should be hanging up the boots at the end of the season from Fremantle. Ted Richards will be hanging up the boots at the end of the season for the Swans. As for Carlton, it'll be goodbye to Michael Jamison. He's hanging up the boots effective immediately, so is Andrew Walker. They're both going to be retiring after round 20. While Xavier Ellis will be hanging up the boots effective immediately because of injury issues. And now first up, let's go to round 19. Geelong and the Western Bulldogs at GMHBA at Simmons Stadium. The Cats got it done by 25 on Corey Enright's record-breaking game, and Jimmy Bartell's 300th. Paddy Dangerfield with 33 disposals, 6 clearances, and 3 goals. Got the job done. While for the Western Bulldogs best, we have Shane Biggs with 24 disposals and 4 tackles. Multiple goal kickers. Reece Stanley kicked 5 from the ruck and can play centre half forward. Stephen Motlop 3, Paddy Dangerfield 3, and Tom Hawkins 2. For the Bulldogs, Tory Dixon and Tom Boyd with 3 each. GWS versus Richmond at Giants at Monica Oval in Canberra. What a beautiful game. Richmond won by 3 points. What an upset by the Tigers. They're back in contention. How good is Ty Vickery and Ben Griffiths up forward? They're absolute legends. They don't need Lachlan Brown. Who am I kidding? Who am I supposed to king cow? GWS by 88 points. That's the real result. Absolutely pathetic from Richmond in this game. They've pretty much given up. Heath Shaw had a great game for the Giants. 29 disposals, 11 marks. Steve Johnson, 18 disposals, 7 tackles, 7 marks, 3 goals. Richmond's best was, of course, Dustin Martin was Richmond's reserves best with 28 disposals and a goal. For the multiple goal kickers, Sam Reid 3, Steve Johnson 3, Toby Green 3, Tom Scully 2, Jeremy Cameron 2. While Div 12 Resi, Jack Raywalt kicked 2 for the Div 12 Resis. And the only other goal kicker for the Div 12 Resis in this game was Sam Lloyd with 1 goal. For GWS, well, they're in contention for the flag now. For Richmond, you seriously need to get a new full forward. Get Lachlan Brown on the team. Hawthorn and Carlton at Aurora Stadium. Well, that's better. Hawthorn win by 19 points. Sean Burgoyne with 25 disposals, 8 marks and a goal. Bryce Gibbs had a great one for Carlton. 21 disposals, 9 marks, 2 clearances and a goal. Multiple goal kickers. It's only Jonathan Segler and Luke Bruce with 2 each. Kind of a bit of a nothing game. Around this time, well, the Rio Olympics is getting underway for 2016. On the 5th of August, it's the opening ceremony. Collingwood and West Coast at the MCG. The West Coast, they don't like being on the road. They lost by 6. They don't even like going to Melbourne. They've lost by 16. They've lost by 19 to Collingwood. Scott Pendlebury was Collingwood's best with 34 disposals and 13 tackles. Taylor Adams had another great game as well. So did Brodie Grundy with 45 hit-outs. Josh Smith's starting to come into his own for Collingwood. Multiple goal kickers. Jack Darling kicked 4 for the Eagles. Josh Kennedy, Jamie Cripps, and name I should not mention kicked 2 goals. For Collingwood, Darcy Moore kicked 3, Stillside Bottom with 2, and James Aish with 2. And that's about it, the report. Brisbane and Port Adelaide at the Gabba. Oh, wow. The Brisbane Lions. What a game. What a game. They won it after the siren. Brisbane by 1 point. What a legend Josh Shackey is. He got the winning goal. Who am I supposed to care? Port by 94 points. At Brisbane's own home ground. Well, I guess Brisbane don't even like playing at home. John Botcher had a great game for Port Adelaide, back to his round 22 2011 best, with 20 disposals, 11 marks and 4 goals. Sorry, I was just recording, Mum. Aaron Young had a great game himself, even though he kicked 1-5, but if he kicked straight, he would have got 6. Ollie Wides had a great game for the Power, 32 disposals and 4 tackles. Multiple goal kickers, Chad Wingard with 5, John Butcher with 4, Travis Boak with 3, Justin Westhoff 2. Same with Jackson Trengove, Jarman MP, Brad Ebert, Brendan Archie, and Carl Amon. Michael Close kicked 2 goals for the Lions, so did Josh Walker and Dane Zorko. Port Adelaide, well, they could still be a chance for the finals as per Brisbane. Get rid of Justin Lapich as their coach. Get a new coach. North Melbourne and St Kilda at Etihad Stadium. The Roos got it done for Boomer's 427th game. Jamie McMillan had a great game for Boomer. 31 disposals, 8 marks and a goal. Boomer kicked 24 disposals, 5 marks and a goal on his milestone game. The multiple goal kickers, Ben Brown, Jared Wade and Drew Petrie have all kicked 7 goals each. Nick Rewald and Josh Bruce had combined for 2 goals each for the Saints. During that night, well, even though it was a good night for Boomer, but I did enjoy my night myself too at the Chunky Custard concert at the Parafield Gardens Community Club. Anyways, back to Sunday football. Melbourne and Gold Coast at the MCG. The Demons, Suds nearly got it done, but Jack Watts kicked the winning goal in the dying minutes to keep Melbourne's finals hopes alive. Dom Tyson had a great game with 31 disposals and 8 clearances. 60 hit-outs from Max Gawn. Jack Watts with 3 goals, including the winner. Speaking of goal kickers, Aaron Vandenberg kicked 3 for the Demons. Brandon Matera, Tom Lynch, and Jeff Garlett with 2 each for the Suns. Fremantle and Sydney at Subiaco Oval. Who do I care? Sydney by 90 points. Even though David Mundy had a great game with 44 disposals, 13 clearances and a goal. Lachie Neale with 41, 9 disposals and no goals. Even though Freo players played really good in this game, but Sydney got the goal at the multiple goal kickers. Josh Kennedy had a great game, 45 disposals, 11 marks and 3 goals. Multiple goal kickers, Isaac Heaney with 4, Tom Mitchell 3, Josh Kennedy 3, Dean Towers 2, Gary Rowan 2, Xavier Richards 2, and Buddy Franklin with 2. The only multiple goal kicker for the Dockers is the retiring Matthew Pavlich, with 2 goals. Next game, Adelaide and Essendon at Adelaide Oval. How big was that win for the Crows? 82 points. But the bad news is we might be without Sauce Jacobs. He's out now injured, even though he had 7 hitouts. It was actually Matthew Leuenberger who won the ruck battle. Rory Sloan had a great game for the Crows with 33 disposals and a goal. Essendon's best was Joe Danaher with 21 disposals, 11 marks and 4 goals. Multiple goal kickers, Eddie Betts with 5, Mitch McGovern 4, Charlie Cameron 4, Paul Seedsman 2, Josh Jenkins 2 and Richard Douglas 2 for the Crows. As for the Bombers, Joe Danaher 4 and Jayden Laverde 2. Some of the Australian athletes, they're going to be heading off to Rio for the Olympics. Let's look at the ladder. No change in the top 4 between Hawthorn, Giants, Sydney and Geelong. Crows move up to 5th. West Coast are now in 6th. Bulldogs and North Melbourne are still 7th and 8th. Port Adelaide move up to 9th following that huge win over Brisbane. That was a percentage booster for them. 10th is the Saints. Barely any change in the bottom 8 except the Gold Coast going from 15th to 14th and Carlton going down to 15th. Now for the round 20 predictions. Richmond and Collingwood at the MCG. Well, this has been pretty much Richmond's last chance for 2016. Well, this is the last time I'm picking them this season. I'm going Richmond by 15 points. Sydney and Port Adelaide at the SCG. I reckon the Swans will get it. I reckon the Swans will easily get the job done by about 90 points. This is an interesting call. I'm going for Sydney almost by the same margin. Port Adelaide won by against the Lions. Melbourne and Hawthorn at the MCG. I'm calling it. I reckon Melbourne in an upset. The Demons by 30 points. Hawthorn are actually bound to have a bit of a I think Hawthorn bound to have a bit of a fade out. Gold Coast and the Giants at Metricon. I reckon the Giants will get it done in the Expansion Cup by 4 points. Western Bulldogs and North Melbourne at Etihad Stadium. I'm going to Bulldogs by 20 points. Adelaide Crows, but Adelaide versus the Brisbane Lions reserves at Adelaide Oval. Or should I say, the Brisbane Bears? Well, the reason why I'm calling the Brisbane Bears this week is because, well, they actually play like the bad news Bears at home against the Power. I'm calling it. Adelaide by 138 points over the bad news Bears. Carlton and St Kilda at the MCG. Saints, I reckon the Saints will actually make a late finals run here. I reckon they'll win by about 70 odd. I got West Coast by 44 in the derby. Geelong and Essendon at Etihad Stadium. I reckon the Cats will get it done by about 70 points. That will wrap up round 20's episode. And we'll see you soon for round 21.